Short and sweet, ready to go. Thursday, locked and loaded, 14-game slate. Josh Ingles, Carlo Colaiacovo covers this puck props presented by Bet99. A good one last night, buddy.
Great
At least
start.
it wasn't the most exciting hockey game on the planet, let's be honest. But a win for the boys in blue. Big Jays game. But yesterday was a fun day in sports, was it not?
Oh, buddy, it doesn't get much better than that, especially if you're a Toronto sports fan. I mean, the Leafs open up the season with, I said impressive win because they played really good in the third period and they found a way to win a hockey game that they probably had no business winning. And then on the other TV, if you had one, you had the Jays going into Yankee Stadium and closing out the series and marching on to the ALCS. So, even if you just look at the 4 hockey games that were played, we told you yesterday, at least I told you, round robin the underdogs. And if you did, you probably made some good money because Calgary, we were on them plus money. And even LA, like the back-to-back didn't really matter. They went in and found a way to beat a Vegas team that came back in that game, had a hat trick, had a 4-point night for Michael, but not enough as the Kings found a way. But tonight's the night. Tonight's the night for hockey.
Saw some numbers from our last show. Need to do better today. Everybody there, engage, like, comment, subscribe, share the show. We appreciate everybody. Good to see the pumpers here in the morning. Let me know where you're coming from. Seeing some Indianapolis. Would like to see some other spots. Brady Martin, 18-year-old, will get his first NHL action today. Pride of Elmira, Ontario. I don't know if you go this way
first
as much
line.
as you. What's that?
First line, too.
I was at a wedding last weekend out in Holstein. You ever been to Holstein?
Where's that?
Oh, that's out Drayton area.
Germany?
Drayton, Fergus, that way, but
still don't know where that
some
is.
good old what? Jeez. Oh, city slicker. Some good old boys out that way. I was the only guy wearing dress shoes. Should have brought my cowboy boots, but we go today. And today's lesson is let's just pick off some mispriced points. Let's not get crazy with some stuff. You could swallow 15 hours looking through this 14-game slate and putting that time in and coming away with no winners would be an absolute travesty in terms of where we are.
Yeah.
Sherwood Park, Alberta. Like it. Traveling for work in San Diego. Cody Clifton. Appreciate you. Cowtown, Boogs.
Cancun. Look at Andre Sanchez from Cancun, where the Yankees are going to be soon.
Woo, Yankees lose. Love that.
Duh, Yankees lose.
That was so funny. I could sit there and listen to 2 Dominican baseball players talking to each other forever. It's so funny. We go, and I think there's another angle today. I think we saw it in the LA game. Teams who have already played versus teams who haven't, go look at their prices for first goal. If they're better than like minus 110 or minus 115 or minus 120, I think that's your move. Teams who have already skated, who haven't, it might not work later in the game. Don't look at money line, but I think if you look at them for first goals, that's where we go. Let's go. Rangers. Oh, stinkfest in the opener. Buffalo. We go, and this is going to be the theme all day, all long. Alex Lafreniere for a point plus 110. We get that up. Producer Mick on the buttons today. He's dropped all the plays down at the bottom. That's what we do. No beating around the bush. Lafreniere for a point. To you, the Boston game yesterday versus Washington, similar to the Rangers game on Tuesday. But how embarrassing is it for a team like the Rangers who wanted to turn over a new leaf, who are wearing shirts that say something like no BS or something like that. Like they think they got rid of the problem. And then they get absolutely blanked in their opener at home ice. And we saw Laffy get some movement. He's already playing top line. We saw him get some movement up to PP1. Be interesting to see if that sticks or if they make a move to that point. But how bad was it for the Rangers getting blanked in the opener at home?
Yeah, that's as bad as it gets, right? You talk about the worst possible scenario that could play out in a season where you've changed so much. New coach, new system, new captain, new year, and you come out and you lay a complete egg. So I don't think it gets any easier for them tonight, because now you're walking into a situation in Buffalo and you're playing against a team that is wanting to start a new season too, right? With Buffalo, there's a lot of excitement because of it's a new season. That's a team that wants to take that next step, and you just wonder, if they couldn't get up for Pittsburgh, how are they going to get up for Buffalo? And there's people in the chat that are saying or suggesting that JT Miller could be playing hurt through something. I don't know. Like, I look at that Rangers lineup and I don't see like a threat in their depth in their forward group. So if their top guys aren't leading the way, how are they going to be successful?
Yeah, I don't like that offense, but I do like the opportunity here versus a Buffalo opponent who could be one of the worst teams defensively, giving up goals this year. We'll see how it goes, but staying away from that Miller Zibanejad line, nothing to like there. A little plus money on Laffy, who hopefully could see some PP one time. Let's go. Montreal, Detroit. We got a taste of Montreal yesterday, and we talked about him. And we're going back. Zachary Bolduc for a point at plus 145.
Mm-hmm.
Is he top line? No. Is he PP1 though? Yes. And now you get a Montreal team that's already skated versus a rested, maybe rusty Detroit team. Maybe get a few more chances at power plays. And I think anybody playing PP1 at a point plus 145 is a good look.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that line that he's playing with Gallagher, that top line, Slafkovsky, we were talking about him a bit yesterday, absolutely dominated that game and probably should have got on the score sheet.
Yeah, Doc had a couple of glorious chances that he missed too. And who was the winger there? Is it Newhook or is it
Gallagher, Doc, and Bolduc?
Oh, Gallagher, that's right. Yeah, no, they were very impressive last night. And I think, with the captain and goal, that was shorthanded. That got things started. But even the Bolduc goal that they scored, it's something that Montreal's going to need a lot more of this year. Like again, none of their top line players contributed yesterday and they lost, right? And so for Montreal to replicate that success that they had last year and the improved emphasis on building better depth to that group, it's that line and even guys like Bolduc that they're going to be relying on to help carry that.
We think John Gibson's an overrated goalie at his age.
See, it's hard. It's hard to really get a read on John Gibson because he's played on a really bad team and a place where
he hasn't played for anything.
Hockey.
Like he's just showed up and got a paycheck and played hockey.
That's what I mean, right? So this is going to be a true test for him. Comes to a hockey market, comes to a team that's serious about making the playoffs this year and has to be the guy helping accomplish that. So we'll see how it works out. And like, what was the term you used? Overrated?
Yeah.
It's when he's on, he's great. Like that's hard to say if he's or hard to believe if he's overrated or not.
This move might have been like 3 years too late.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, he's wasted a lot of good years in Anaheim just sitting there. But hey, let's be honest, as a professional hockey player, sitting there playing hockey in Anaheim where no one gives a shit and you get the sun, that's not a bad place. That's not a bad place to raise a family.
Going to the rink in flip-flops every day. Yep.
Yeah, why not? No one cares. Let's go. Bolduc for a point plus 145. In my card, also have Slafkovsky on the alt shots 3+ at plus 195. That if he's shooting and he looks a little bit bigger and a bit stronger. Slafkovsky, I did like his hustle. I did like his size yesterday. So 3 shots for him. I got in my card for plus 195. Philly, Florida. I was talking AK. AK pushed me on this. Owen Tippett for a point. Plus 130. You're
why
like,
did he push you?
Sure, I get it. But no, it's just, it's top line.
Why did he push you this on the point?
It's top line, top PP. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's I obviously like Florida. Florida's at home here, but he's playing on that top line with Zegras and Konechny, and that stack, top line, top PP, plus 525 for them all to point.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
It's very nice. But Tippett for a point. Yep. New management, right? Tocchet. They brought in Tocchet. Zegras is here. Where do you see Philly turning the page? We alluded to Anaheim where you just lose, and and you've taught me that getting used to losing is something that can leach into a locker room. How does that change, and how does Tocchet change that in Philadelphia?
For Zegras or just in general?
Just the team in general. I mean, Zegras brings that with him, but
yeah. Well, I think for Tocchet, the one thing that he could sort of reflect on is that he walked into the same situation as a coach in Vancouver. Right? When he took over that Vancouver job, they were in the similar spot that Philly was in. Probably Philly has more young talent that he can work with versus what he had in Vancouver. But again, in Vancouver, he had Pedersen, he had Hughes, he had JT Miller, he had Demko and net. And I think what he's inheriting is a team with Mitchkov as well too, that's ready to take that next step like he started with in Vancouver and help them learn to play the right way, help them adopt playing a hard wave hockey, but also help them understand that there's room for creativity because, it's the same mentality as a John Tortorella, but I think there's a little bit more of a leash when it comes to a Tocchet coach team.
Not one turnover and demoted to the doghouse.
Right.
But it is probably good for everybody. It's probably good for Zegras. It's good for Mitchkov. It's good for guys who are creative, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, look at the minute Tortorella was fired last year. Did you see the next level that Mitchkov started to play at?
Yes.
So, I mean, there's something to be really excited about just with that.
Yeah, agreed. Thanks for jumping in on the chat, everybody there with live eyes. Hit that like button if you haven't already. When we're done, don't be afraid to share. Tip it for a point, plus 130 in that game. Couple plays here. Nashville, Columbus. And yes, I see the irony of me saying I hate shot on goal and then immediately going to shot on goal the next day.
With the rook.
I know. Hey, we're going Brady Martin for a point at plus 145 and Voronkov for a point at 130 and Voronkov at plus 145. On the Brady Martin side, centering the top line of O'Reilly and Forsberg, but power play too. But let's be honest, they could move him up. We'll see how it goes. Not putting too much on the plate. 18 years old. The top line is plus 430 to get a full point versus Columbus. And I don't know if it's Jet Greaves, but I think that's a hell of a price for a top line in a matchup versus Columbus. 18 years old, 5th pick in this year's draft, 35-1 for the Calder. Like I said, pride of Elmira, Ontario. 18 years old. They give him the green lights and they centering the first line, which is pushing O'Reilly to the wing. Like, is this a way that maybe more teams should just say, you know what? We're not gonna bring you up, put you in front of the crowd like they did with Cohen last night, Easton Cowan, and like have to wave. Do you see those guys waving at the front of the like?
Oh yeah, on the bench.
that like dress and that, they didn't look happy, right? They didn't.
Yeah, no one's happy when they're not playing.
Yeah, right? But you did see Lawton look like the more professional one, being like the wave, but no one else looked happy. But do you think more teams should just kind of be like, "Here's the keys, bud. 18 years old, give you a leash," or that's too difficult of a?
Every team in every situation is different, right? Because a team like Nashville probably had more openings for a guy like Brady Martin to come in and earn a spot like that. Easton Cowan, the best player in the CHL last year, if he was in Nashville, he'd probably be walking into the same situation, but he's on a team like Toronto where that spot isn't open. And I think this is what goes on around the league. I mean, you get drafted to a team like Chicago or San Jose or Anaheim or some of the bottom feeder teams, there's going to be more opportunity for you to step in and play a more prominent role. But on teams that are preparing to be a Stanley Cup contender and teams that have a roster that has been together for a longer period of time, sometimes the jobs that are available aren't the jobs that you're used to, and you just got to buy your time.
Isn't it funny? We're just like one calendar year away from like Nashville making all those moves and being like, we're contenders, to now starting an 18-year-old at center on the first line.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, everybody was crowning them the off-season champions with the moves that they made and the money that they spent. And just they had horrible season that followed that up. And then to follow that up, they weren't really that busy last offseason, and they're gonna bank on internal growth.
Was a question about the Anaheim power play. We'll get to that. We're certainly looking at that game today. And then Voronkov, top line, PP2. He's playing with Monahan, Marchenko at 5-on-5, and then PP2 with Fantilli. So certainly some looks. Plus 145 is a tad long in that price for a guy who should be 16-plus minutes in that game. Let's keep it rolling. We got a double dip in Minnesota. St. Louis at the Wild. Jimmy Snuggs for a point at plus 110 and Marco Rossi for a point at plus 110. These are silly points. Like, these guys are both top line and power play one. And Marco Rossi centering a line that's going to see 20 minutes because Zuccarella's out. So after the depth of the top line, things get pretty light. Boldy and the most expensive human being in the world in Kaprizov. I like both of these guys, but St. Louis is something to look at. I mean, Snug's playing with Thomas and Buchnevich on that top line, but PP1. St. Louis was the best team down the stretch. It's pretty crazy to go back and look at it. 19-4-3 since Valentine's Day, which I think is around like the break for the Four Nations. Mm-hmm. Can you really keep that momentum going? Are they that team, or are they more of like an 8-seed team over the course of 82 games?
And we're talking about Minnesota here?
I'm talking about St. Louis.
Oh, St. Louis. I think there's a little bit of momentum that carries into year after year. And you got to remember, St. Louis made a coaching change last year in the middle of the season, right? When they brought in Jim Montgomery. So they clearly started to elevate their game and their position in the standings and in that division when he took over and they were serious about winning again. So I can't think that starting a new season with all that in place already and with Jim Montgomery as a coach, there's going to be a step that's taken back. I actually like St. Louis this year. I mean, Jordan Binnington's going to be the goalie for Team Canada. He's the goalie for the Blues. Like, it's a big year for him, and Joel Hofer is going to want more playing time. I think they got two really good goalies in that.
Very good.
Yeah, so I expect the things to continue trending upwards for the St. Louis Blues.
Dylan Holloway, like there's a lot.
They missed him in the playoffs last year. Remember?
100%, right?
And
like
they were a second away from advancing to the second round. Remember, in Game 7, Winnipeg tied it with less than a second left on the board.
Oh God, yes.
And then they scored in overtime.
Like, it's a good, like, Buchnevich, Tomic, and Snuggerud. That's your top line. Holloway, Shed, and Kyrou on your second line. Jake Neighbors, Pius Suter, and Matthew Joseph on your third line. And then your fourth line, you got Nathan Walker and Nick Bustad. So you do have some, and Torpachenko. So there is some stuff. And you got Cam Fowler and Parenko, Broberg, who's a beast, Justin Falk, and Logan Mailloux. Did he come from Montreal?
Yeah, he was the return in the Bolduc trade.
There you go. So it's a pretty deep team in terms of what it is. And
you added one of the top players in college hockey last year, Snuggerud, right?
Yep. Thomas, Snuggerud, and Buchnevich is plus 275 I got for the full stack there. Kyrou and Holloway's plus 180. That's probably a pass for me. But someone in the chat did say second line PP2 correlated. Pius Suter and Jake Neighbors.
Oh, that's right. They signed Pius Suter. Yeah.
What's that?
I forgot they signed Pius Suter.
Yeah. So that's the PP2 line 2 correlation. Plus 340 for those guys to score together. That's a beauty one in that game versus Minnesota. There's a lot to like in that game. I do like the late slate a little more than I do like this early slate. Seattle, Anaheim. This could be my favorite one. I think there's just so much value everywhere because both of these teams split up their power play very well. And someone said, is Anaheim going to go 50-50? I would assume so. And we'll get your take on Anaheim, but I want to get these plays out. Cutter Gauthier for a point at plus 130. And there's a lot to be excited about in Anaheim. New coach and Joel Quenneville, who's the betting favorite for the coach of the year. But it's not just that. They've added Kreider. They've added Michael Granlund, who I absolutely love. And then their blend of young talent and blue line might be some of the best in all of hockey. Jackson Lacombe, Pavel Mintyukov, Owen Zellweger. And then you add that with Radko Gudas, who I know is maybe past his prime, but that's still a veteran Grizzly person who works well with that young talent, and add Jacob Trouba. And now my buddy Beckett Seneg, who he's on that second line with Cutter Gauthier and McTavish, PP2 correlated. Gautier's a fifth overall. Senec third, and I'm losing it again. And McTavish is a third.
It's
I don't
Seneca.
know.
Beckett Seneca.
Seneca.
Yeah.
Seneca. I still get it wrong. Fix that, Mick, in the post, because I need to cut that clip later. Appreciate it. Senec. Anyway, but yeah, we got a fifth, a third, and a third overall pick. Right now in hockey, I don't know if there's a higher draft pick line that exists. And this team deserves to be excited. But are you buying the juice for Anaheim, who spent 2 years losing?
No, I am. And the reason for it is because Joe Quenneville's back. Like, you don't bring in a guy like Joe Quenneville to coach this team if you're not ready to take that next step. And most people thought that last year was going to be the step that Anaheim taken. Look, they took a small one, right? But now I think they're ready to take a ginormous one, because you bring in Quenneville, who's a very credible coach. And remember, the Florida Panthers are what they are right now because when Quenneville took over that team, he started the transition of them to be serious about winning. And then that whole scandal in Chicago happened, and he had to leave midway through that first season that he was in because, of all the stuff that he had to deal with. So then in comes Paul Maurice, right? It was that same season. It was Andrew Brunette that finished the season. They win I think they were one of the top teams in the league. They might have won the President's Trophy that year. And they don't bring back Andrew Brunette. They actually decide to bring in Paul Maurice, and Paul Maurice has developed them into what they are right now. So Quenneville, in a similar situation in Florida or in Anaheim right now, I think with a lot more younger pieces. And look, they traded Gibson because they believe in Dostal, the goaltender. So I think Anaheim's ready to take that next step to be a playoff team this year.
Lucas Dostal, long shot, good long shot bet for Vezina. Ken put up the numbers, but interesting to see how the wins do stack up. But in this game, I will have my boosted double stack that we had the half of it. And I really thought that line, I thought Slav and Caulfield had some great chances yesterday, but they sold us yesterday, but we'll get another boosted one for Bet99 today, and that's going to be Cutter Gauthier, Craig McTavish, Mason McTavish. Oh, Jesus. Please stay at home, Craig. Mason McTavish, Jaden Schwartz, and Shane Wright at plus 1,100.
Ouch. Yes.
And that's just second line PP2 correlated, but it's PP2 correlated, but both of those teams split up their power play pretty evenly. So a good spot to look for the double stack today. With the double stack, you always want that two-way scoring. Hey, Chris, we want that old theme song back. We're working on it. We got that quick hitting stuff.
We don't
want any strikes. We're doing good. We got to play by the rules, my guy. We got to play by the rules. But it's a massive day. I really wish somehow they gave us a 3:00 game or something, or at least gave us some hockey tomorrow, pal, because we got absolutely nothing. Kids are home from school, and we got no goddamn hockey.
Right. I forgot that too. Jeez.
What are you going to do? No baseball, no hockey, no football. Jeez.
I know.
Might be a CFL night tomorrow night, pal.
Might be.
Hey, could be. But hey, a great slate today, a great start yesterday. We hit that plus 190 Calgary money line. Barbashev was the layup. We got the Michelli point. There's a lot to like. The NHL is back, and we got a ton of player points that, let's be honest, I think are mispriced as we get into, let's just be betting on opportunity, right? Opportunity is the most important thing in hockey.
Yeah, it's true.
Get your spot. And if you're not an opportunity, then you move. But right now we're betting on those guys in that spot today. It's Thursday, which almost means one more sleep till Friday. And how are you going to, we should send off, but how are you going to play around with the ALCS over fucking Canada Thanksgiving. Isn't that a crazy coincidence?
It makes the family gathering even that
Awesome.
much better.
Right?
Right? Yeah.
No, that's going to be
together.
Absolute legendary weekend coming. I'm trying to get my way to Detroit. I want Detroit to win. I'm trying to get my way to a couple Detroit games. If it goes next Wednesday, next Thursday.
Oh boy.
Trying to get some content delivered out of that. But if not, I'll try to find my way to Toronto on Monday. So keep an eye on that. The Jays move on, and we keep padding stacks. Let's go. NHL Puck Props presented by Bet99. Don't forget to go over there. Look there for all of your NHL betting action, plus my boosted double stack. Hit that like button on the way out. Plays are listed. I'll post on X. Lead us out, buddy.
Let's follow up another successful night. Let's cash. Bang.
Scatman. Yo, do, do, do. Skimmy, dimmy, ding, yo, do, do, do. Yo, do, do, ba, ba, ba.